In this video we're going to look at changing this layout so that we don't just have a text box and a submit button and then more stuff just rolling along the top. We're going to lay it out so it comes down the screen. You've seen some tags, the paragraph and the break tag, which will help us do that. We're also going to learn how to attach variables and send them to another page, and they will appear in this address bar here. So first of all, let's start looking at our code. For example, if I change this code here so that I've got input text and input type equals submit all on one line and refresh my page, it's going to do exactly the same thing. Okay, it's not going to change how things appear. May have been slightly different, but no great stuff. So what we do here is basically for our own visual clue to help us write our code. But if we want to change how it appears on the screen, if you remember back to previous videos or if you didn't look at them, what we need is a break tag so that the button appears on the line below. So I'm going to type that in now. I'm going to end it with the / as well as an ending tag. And I'm going to save that and then refresh my page, and you should notice that the button is now beneath the text box. So that's how we're going to perform this information. What I really want is to have some sort of hint. Remember when we did the raw input, we had the word enter your name. I also want something on here to actually give me a hint as to what I've got to type in. Now, I'm not going to do that inside the tag. I'm going to do it on the outside of the tag. I'm going to type first name with a colon at the end, save that and refresh, and you'll see that on the screen it's giving me a sort of hint as to what needs to be typed into this box. I'm going to add a second tag, so I want the person's first name and their last name. I'm not just happy to have their first name, so I'm going to create another text box on the screen. Last name, it's going to be the same. Input, you can just copy and paste this. I'm choosing the long way around just to give more practice. Input text. Okay, there we go. I'm going to save that. And before I actually refresh the page, take a look at the code, see if you can figure out how the page is going to look when I reload it. Okay, we've got first name, last name, input. Is it going to look like this or is it going to look differently? Let's check. There we go. A little submit button is now on the end of there. Why was that? Well, basically because we need to say we need a line break there. Okay, that does it, and that now tidies up our screen so the submit button is underneath. I'm not really going to go into too much detail on formatting the web page, just show you one or two bits and pieces, and that's all. What I might want to do is actually have a sort of gap between last name and the submit button, and I could use the paragraph tags. Yeah. So for example, if I did this, put a paragraph tag on the front of there and an end paragraph tag there, saved it and reloaded it, there you go. I've got a little bit of a space between the name and the button. So there we go. It's one way of formatting up the page. So in Python, we saw that if we wanted to do this name, let's just change that for first name so that you sort of see first name equals war input. Let's copy that. So I've really got the same sort of thing in Python as this on my screen now. First name equals raw input. There we go. If I was writing in Python, that's what I would expect this to be the equivalent of. But as I said, when we typed something in, the value was stored in first name for that line, and when we typed something on this one, the value was stored in last name on this line. We need to be able to manage that too. We need to be able to capture these variables and use them, and their results are going to appear after the question mark at the top of the page in the address bar. So how does that work? Well, if we go back, what it is inside the input tag, if we give it a name, and it's actually called name, a parameter called name, and if we give that a variable name, so this one's first name, so I would want to have the variable name first name. We could do the same for the second one. Name equals, no prizes for guessing, I'm going to call that last name. If I put these in, they're going to act as variables when I pass it, and I'm not just going to get a blank empty box when I press the submit button now. So let's see that in action. So I've saved the file, reload it in here. We could just take that out and type localhost sandbox. And there we go. So I've gotten rid of the question mark so that we can see clearly what's happening. So first name, if I type in Joe, for last name, if I type in blocks, and then press the submit button, watch what happens in the address bar. Okay, there we go. We get the question mark saying that there is variables following. There should be something before the question mark, and I'll get to that a bit later. But there's my variables. First name is now equal to Joe, which we typed. Notice that it also cleared the boxes when we pressed it. There's my variable for last name, and that is equal to blogs, which we typed in last name, and they are separated by this ampersand. So every single variable pair, so I actually call them key value pairs. There's the key, that's the value. Every single one is going to be separated by an ampersand. So that's how to format so it looks nicer, and how to use the name variable, the name to give a variable name to be passed to another page.